place was appropriate for the conversation that we're about to have. I've reached a dead end. I was thinking about what the rake had told me. About the fact that I would find Arthur in the last place that I would ever look. And thinking about it, the last place I'd ever look is the last place I'd ever look. So it's probably going to take me some time to realize where he actually is, but inherently, I've been thinking about a lot of other things now. That brings that into perspective about what the rake had said. If I take, that puts this, and I've been reaching into those far-off fantastical aspects of it, because those would be the more likely possibilities, even though as outlandish as they may seem. Now bear with me. I've been putting off these tales, but I realize with this notion that they'll probably hold more merit than they do. Now what do I mean by tales, right? Well, just listen. To make sure that this doesn't get as confusing as it probably would, I'm just gonna go straight into it and explain. And then I'll explain at the end as briefly as I can without it getting too muddled down. It was like, excuse me, what the fuck are you talking about? So that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. So, the legend goes, my father was a god. You see, he wielded a weapon called a trident. You've probably heard of what a trident is. Basically, Poseidon, Aquaman, shit like that. Basically, my father wielded a weapon called the trident of Trizu. The story goes, that's why I'm next to the ocean right now. And not just my father. This is ancient times, Roman times, this is the times of the Holy Roman Empire, the Greek gods, the ancient Greek history. And it's just not him a god, but it's all godlike forms of us, our family. Think back to the 8 Tribal of Nero. I was talking about magic, how I use magic during that iteration. That replication it's really hard to explain, but basically these stories exist in my mind, memories, like it's memories that are really confused to figure out. And basically this is when empires are falling, and we are put into this stasis, this human stasis. Our forms, our godlike forms, are ripped from us, and we are put into more human bodies. Now, this all comes from a result of hubris. I don't know if you know what hubris is, but it's a Greek concept, basically meaning an arrogance towards the gods. But basically, our supernatural potential, we reached a form because we were gods, apparently. And my father was a powerful king that wielded a trident of Trizu that came from Tiamat. Now what is Tiamat? Tiamat is the cosmic ocean, the primordial soup that all existence comes from. Of course, you probably heard the term primordial soup to describe the heavens, the stars, the universe, the black hole of creation, stuff like that, just the endless fabric. The cosmic ocean, Tiamat, was plucked, that's not the right term, but it was put into the ocean of life, of our world, which is the very ocean, the very waters that are right here, the waves pushing onto the rocks of this stairs. And I believe Slenderman utilized hubris against us. Hubris is an arrogance towards gods, true gods, but I think Slenderman utilized it as a way to reach false divinity. Because the Slenderman had saw that another creation out in the life out in the endless stream of the universe, or the multiverse, or the various beings and things, Slenderman saw a creation, us, where we were just as powerful, and Slenderman used it. Tiamat is, if I remember correctly, because these memories are false shit, because it was like the burning of Alexandria, all this knowledge of all this magic, all the past, the really past, like the ancient stuff, like to my memory, to what ours, like all that is very fractured, very limited, very removed, very not in pieces. That is not like, it's not, I can't exactly think about that because it doesn't feel exactly like it's constructed in a way that's linear in any way. So, Tiamat. Slenderman used Tiamat, which is the most powerful thing in the universe, I believe. I'm pretty certain that Tiamat is the most powerful thing in the universe, and Slenderman used it to vanquish us into human forms, human selves, human whatever kind of divinity, whatever kind of power we were, was basically eradicated, or at least somehow subjugated to something. Now again, think this could all just be a story, but if it frightened the Slender Man so much that he had to use the most powerful thing in the universe against us, that probably tainted him. So where am I going with this? Well, the Trident of Threezu, in the relics of Hubris. I believe the Trident is somewhere waiting for my father. That Trident the Trident is, in theory, probably the most powerful constructed, most beautifully crafted weapon in the world, because it utilizes Tiamat, the cosmic ocean, and obviously Tridents are like very centered with oceans, like Poseidon, stuff like that, Neptune, or that. So the Trident, I believe it's out there somewhere between Italy, the Adriatic Sea, which is this is the Adriatic Sea right here. If I go that way into the ocean, that's the Adriatic. Obviously the Mediterranean, but this is the Adriatic Sea. Wherever the Trident is, it has to be between here. Because put it in context that the Greek and Romans, it's this area. Like, I'm hopeful, even though this is a wild statement, but at least better make sense of something that I thought was just some kind of facade perpetrated by the Slenderman, aka the magic aspect of my previous replication. Well, previous on-screen replicate. So yeah. But the thing that frightens me most, that at least kind of daunts me a little bit at least, is that I'm not who I think I am. That I'm more akin to something like a powerful demigod than anything like a human is, which is kind of really fucking crazy to think about. Maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe it's not inherently this. Maybe there is some truth to the magic aspect, because obviously these stories go beyond regular time. It goes far off into the past, far into the past, into like this kind of immortal soul. It's just weird to think about, I guess. So, where does that leave me? Arthur is still my main objective, but I don't know if I were able to find him without knowledge of the Trident. So I might be putting that as a secondary objective. Arthur, for now. It's still my main objective, but I'm refocusing my main efforts onto finding that fucking Trident, if it exists in some form. So that's what we're gonna do. know, I'm pretty buried in levels of hyper-existentialism right now, but, you know, that makes me think, what if there exists a more multiversal threat than even the Slender Man himself? I mean, come on. If a total omniverse exists, like a big, just, how many threats are really out there that even pose a threat to even Slenderman that can overpower him? If we were like threats to him, then there could be some really worse stuff out there. Just all these kind of things just stacked on top of each other all the way down. And the clock, not the clock, what? The chime of the church. Pretty appropriate. And these, whatever that is over there. It's a nice dock, but inherently, why do I keep saying inherently? I don't know. Not even a dock. Well, this is the dock. This is the pier. Sunsetting, so. Seriously? The fuck? There we go. Fucking didn't see the light. Arthur! Now think about what I've just heard, what I recorded. Like Echo and Zeus. You see, echoes are confined to large spaces. Echoes can echo for a very long time in huge spaces. And if it's perfect for this realm, you know, sometimes I mentioned hearing Arthur, hallucination of his voice in the past before. It's not a taunting mechanism, it's how this reality has been constructed, like a mirror. Echoes bounce back, and echoes come because Arthur is out there, screaming for me because he knows I can pick it up at some point. Those echoes have been probably traveling for a very long time, but they still reach me in the end because it's a confined space. An echo in a space, it will echo away. And the closer I get to the source of the sound is the closer I get to him. Obviously, it's like, it's an echo, so in a huge space, these echoes travel bounce all around like this, because it always sounds like it's going in all different directions. That's because it technically is. This realm constantly destroys any continuity, eternally shifting like leaves.